All right, happy Saturday, fam. I want you to know that I just sat I sat into this live stream just in case you're going to listen to this on your run. I want you to know that I sat into the shot. Anyway, we're just running around, getting ready. Just last second. Everything's a mess. Looks like my hair's a mess, and I don't look at myself frequently in the mirror. I just go and somebody was in the comments and I didn't see it until I started going through all the comments and trying to respond to them. And somebody put in the Alpha Flight 3's overrated video, they put it was your hairstylist is overrated. And I was like, ouch. Oh, were you really coming for my hair? You really at me? You're coming for my hair. This is where we're at. Is so dude, you can't be picking on Sergio from Supercuts, you know, Gabe from Great Clips. I mean, Serge just trying to make a livable wage, like just don't pick on Sergio like that. He just cuts my hair. I'm a budget buyer on shoes, guys. I'm gonna tell you, too much to my wife's dismay. I also go for the cheap cuts. She's like, "No, you do need a hairstylist." And I'm like, "But," and I hear that because honestly, she's the one who has to look at me. And I'm very married. I say that a lot. That means I don't care. I just game over. I don't like if you see something, I tell her, if you see something that you think I would look good in, you could buy it. That's fine. Otherwise, I'm gonna wear the same t-shirts I've been wearing for 10 years. And when my jeans get a hole in them, I'm gonna replace them. But otherwise, this is it. So anyway, we are going to talk shoes. That is the point of this live stream. It is a shoe talk live stream. I know it's a very small channel right now because I had to create this other channel just to get things going for it. But the idea is that every Saturday, every Wednesday at 12, we're just going to talk shop. We're just going to talk about shoes, and that's it. And you could just nerd out the latest stuff you've been running in, what's been coming out, updates to certain things, anything that you want to talk about, and then I'm going to moderate it and I'm going to make jokes. Right now, it's early on, so we don't have a lot of people. This is going to be like a later but not live kind of action where you just take this on your run, and that's cool too. So, creative community is in here. He says, "Yo, Andrew, how goes it, man? Since you got the SL, do you think you'll avoid the Adios 9? About to finish a marathon training block and considering Adios 9 for the next 5K block to build some foot strength." That's a great question. And way to kick us off. And thank you for being here, CC, creative community. I'm going to say yes, that I'm going to pass on the Adios 9 because I have two shoes. I have the Takumi Sen 10, which has about 50 miles in, and I'm running in weekly. And then I also have this new Evo SL, which we're going to talk about at great length today in detail. We're going to do a little deep dive into the SL. And that's going to do a lot of my tempo work. And spoiler alert, I was wrong in the video that came out today. I said, oh, the Adidas has the new Light Strike Pro formulation. Well, that's not what they're using in this shoe. This is the one from the 3, which makes sense because that's exactly what it feels like underfoot. And for me, it took me a while to break in the Light Strike Pro from the Adios Pro 3, and I ended up loving that shoe. It was very buttery. I took it to over 250 miles. It was my long run shoe of choice last year, this year. So I think that the Evo SL will grow on me and I will love it. But I've got all of my speed work covered between those two shoes. And so I'm gonna pass on the Adios 9, which is ironic because that's exactly how I felt about the Audio 6, 7, and 8. I did buy the Audio 6 because it was on sale for $60. And when a shoe goes down to like 40 bucks, 60 bucks, I buy it on principle. I don't even think about it. There's not a thought in my brain. Usually, there's not a whole lot going on. But especially when I see something like that, I just click buy Also, to my wife's dismay, I am currently unloading some shoes, trying to on the Supwell app marketplace. Sold a couple, they're in the mail, and then I'm trying to sell the Alpha Fly 3 and some other ones just to make room for the inventory. So, the topics for today, we are going to talk Evo SL. We'll start with the section, which is just shoes I ran in this week, and we'll kind of go off of that. And then I will unpack more if we're talking about the same shoe. Obviously, this is not a sustainable topic because I will be talking about the same shoes because I'm not going to be running in new shoes every week. I'm not Joanna. I'm not the run testers, believe in the run. I don't test all of the shoes. I buy my own shoes. And this was another comment in the video I want to address today. The video that came out, somebody said something that it was misleading because I did an opening kind of like Aubrey, and it's like, are you working with Aubrey? Are you working with Believe in the Run? Do you or you're usually straightforward and transparent with everything? What's going on? I will say this: I buy all of my shoes except for the ones I tell you that I didn't buy. So Mizuno started sending me shoes last year. Mount Coast sent me some shoes. Kofuzi ironically sent an extra pair of Saucony Endorphin Pro 4s. I don't know why that's ironic. Oh, I guess because he's the disclosure king. But yeah, those are the only shoes that have ever been sent to me. Everything else I purchased with my own money. And so like I lightly roasted on. Okay. And when I say light roast, like when you go into a coffee shop and you're like, go give me a light roast. And there's the meme going around. It's like, you have very small ears. That's a light roast. I think the hairstylist was a light roast also. That's a blonde roast for sure. Don't pick on Serge, man. Golly. He didn't get he lives off tips. Anyway, I roasted on a little bit, and it's not a very remarkable shoe, the On Cloud Eclipse. I did enjoy it running in it today, and I think it's what I need. I do think that I need a shoe that's not going to encourage me to go faster on days that I need to recover. So we'll just start with today. Today I ran on the On Cloud Eclipse, and here's why I think I like it. Because I have to like something. I just don't like running slow. I don't like doing recovery paces, but it's necessary. It's a part of the game. You got to do it. And I don't like super shoes. I don't like super soft shoes for that. The 1080 B13 was too soft. I started to get burning sensations in areas you're not supposed to get burning sensations. Passing on the joke there. I also don't like super heavy recovery shoes that are clunky. So I've run in like the more V3 maybe, and it was like on recovery days, it felt heavy. My legs felt heavy already. Then the shoes were heavy. I didn't like it. I don't like a little clomp or whatever it's called. I also what do I like? What do I like for recovery day? I like the On Cloud Eclipse because it's just soft enough, but it's firm and it's not going to encourage me to pick up the pace. It's just a shoe with lots of protection. And I think I have to say that I do enjoy it and that I like it because I have to like something for that. Anyway. All right. Tuesday, I ran in the Puma Deviate Nitro 2. By the way, it is on sale still for $60 on Fit to Run. Just you might have to half size up on that if you do take it, if you pick it up. Yeah, and I want to say like there's two categories of daily trainers, and we just talked about both of them. So like the On Cloud Eclipse is just like your standard workhorse, dare I say workhorse trainer, and then like the Puma Deviate Nitro 2, I don't want to say elite. It's frisky. We're not saying spicy this year. We've retired spicy. So I did 7 miles at an 8:01 pace. Luis Becerra's in here. What's up, Luis? Thanks for making it on a Saturday. Cinnamon. Sin. Amen. Lord, forgive me for my cinnamons. Thank you for enduring, all of you endurance champions, my slam poetry for that video on how my fitness has progressed over the month. Finally able to join the live streams live. Well, I appreciate it, Luis. I hope you catch the LBNLs. We're building something here very slowly. It's gonna be a process. It is not going to come back as quick as my fitness, but it's Saturdays, like, people got stuff to do. I have like, when this finishes, the list of things I have to do is quite substantial, but I got an hour. So we're gonna do some winter cleaning. Is it winter? I don't know. It doesn't we don't really have seasons in San Antonio. It's the cold season. It gets a little bit colder. So hence the long sleeve. I got the long sleeve. Supwell certified. Yeah. Um anyway, the next day I did run in the Takumi Sen 10. So we talk about that shoe. I did 12 by 1 minute at mile pace, whatever that felt like. And so I would say it's too hard to tell. Takumi Sen 8 is the other shoe I own 2 of, and I ran through one, and now I'm running in the other one. I'm not sure I know the difference between the 8 and the 10. They're very subtle. The 10 feels a little bit wider, but I put the shoes up next to each other and they look the same. So it's like, okay, well, I think I have to do one of those run tester deals where I put one on one foot and the other on the other foot and then run in it. And then everybody gonna slide in the comments like, this dude don't have one original idea. He just doing the run testers. Fail. So, but I talked to Matt Beyer and he in the Supwell app, and he has over 330 miles in his eights. And he showed me pictures of that. I only have like 150 miles in my Takumi Sen eights, but he said that the 10 had just as much pop as the eights did. And I'm wondering, does it really make much of a difference between the two of them? Anyway, let's see. I need to come up with a little jingle while I read my notes here. I think that was the SJD thing. Thursday did 8 miles in the Primex Strung. I've got 775 miles on that, I think. But here's the problem with that shoe is it's so fun to run in that it encourages me to run faster. It's on the fun daily trainer side, not the boring kind. So my average pace was 741, and I'm trying to get away from doing that where this is what I did. That's how I got overtrained. So I didn't do recovery days when I should have been doing recovery days. Just like starting to pick it up because I feel fine after a couple of miles. So I've got to wear the on cloud eclipse to force myself not to go faster. So Louise says, winter, you still run shirtless. I do. And, people pick on Matt Choi. I almost called him my boy Matt Choi, but I don't know Matt. I've never met him, so he's not my boy, but he's always run shirtless. And then people jab. But here's the way I think I've gone down this Seth Godin rabbit hole lately. And I don't know if you know who Seth Godin is. He's like the bookstore business leadership management wisdom speaking little tidbit guy. He's big on marketing. He's like the Stephen King of that space. He's been around forever. He's kind of like Malcolm Gladwell, but like a boomer. He's a boomer Malcolm Gladwell, and he's always saying really smart shit. And I take notes, but he infiltrated my algorithm lately, and I've been writing everything down that he said. And when he's talking about people's negative comments or criticisms, really, just like the criticisms have less to do with the person or the actual thing. It has more to do with the person throwing the criticism. It's like it says more about the person who's saying it. It's more telling about that. So it's like if a vegan goes to the steak restaurant and is like, these steaks just no. And then it's like, well, yeah, you're a vegan. It's not for you. Right. And so most criticism isn't necessarily constructive. I don't think there's a point where Matt Choi's gonna put a shirt on, and I I definitely you could run shirtless most of the year, especially after a couple of miles. In fact, from mid-March to October, I run shirtless pretty much. So on race days when they give out those shirts, I'm like, okay, it's gonna go in my closet. I don't know how much value that we're gonna have here. So, anyways. All right, Friday Evo SL. This is what the topic is going to be called for the live stream. So, got it right here. We'll talk about it. It's talked about it in the video that just came out. And so, like I said, the outsole I did not address in the video. The outsole I don't need to address at all because it's not inclement weather here. So I don't know how it'll hold up. So you have to like see how other people respond to that. I have a feeling there's going to be some backlash on the shoe because it will be overhyped in a way. People are going to overhype it in one direction, and then people are going to put the shoe on, and it's not going to work as well. But I think that if you liked the Boston 12, if you like the Adios Pro 3, if you like that version of Light Strike Pro, you're going to like the shoe. Now, if you like those shoes right away, you'll like this shoe right away. People have been talking to me via the comments and sharing their experience with the shoe. And for context, people will say, I'm 205 pounds. It was great right out of the box. Talking about the upper was fine for me. The upper was not fine for many other people that I've heard. So buyer beware on the upper. It's not. And I asked clarifying questions like, what about the upper bothers you? Is it the lace bite? The tongue is slippery. It's not fantastic because there's more room and I was able to get it on without taking an extra 5 minutes from my morning routine just to get the shoe on. I need a shoehorn. And I don't know if that's still a thing. People have shoehorns still. Anyway, I still think the upper was an improvement based off of the prior Adidas shoes, which sometimes are hard to get on, and it's very breathable. Now, the under ride experience, like I said earlier, I was wrong. I thought this was the new formulation. This is just the old Light Strike Pro. That makes a ton of sense. And since I did like the Adios Pro 3 so much, I think once I break this foam in, I'm going to love it. You can see there's a wider platform on the bottom as well on the forefoot. You really kind of feel it's not super soft in the heel. So I don't, maybe if you're 200 pounds, it is, but it wasn't for me. For context, I'm 5'6.25" and I weigh 144 pounds. I got to be honest. If I say I'm 5'8" or 5'7", people are like, "No, I'm 5'8". Get down there. No way. You got to be like 5'5". If I'm like I'm 5'6", people are like, "No way, dude, you're 5'6". Dude, you got to be like 5'8" because I'm whatever. So I can't win. I don't know what I am. I'm a clown. I'm a clown apparently. Andrew Escobedo's in here. What's up, Andrew? Have you tried the SL2? And if so, how does it compare? I haven't. I've passed on the SL2 a couple of times when it has dropped into the 80 to 90 range because I'm like, I don't have that money right now. It's going to be $80 next week. And then next week it's not. So then when I get more money, it's not available. The Supernova Rise. It's another one that I've wanted to check out because they're like, dude, subtle little shoe, a little sleeper shoe. And it was on sale for $56. And I was like, almost hitting the click buy. And then I was like, no, don't. And what it was is somebody said it was the Ghost, Adidas's take on the Ghost. And it's just, I was like, okay, well, then maybe I won't buy the Adizero. No, what is this? No, the Supernova Rise is not Adizero. So SL2 is on my list. But I don't know. We'll see. All right, so we'll get some boxes. Wait, what's in the box? By the way, that Aubrey magic that I tried, it actually worked. In the video today, I was like, I imagine this is how he does this. I did go to film school. I should know. I should take the best guess, but It wasn't CGI. We didn't need to call Peter Jackson. There were no hobbits involved. Just the wizardry was all planning. That's what it was. So Nike. I'm gonna say that just to piss people off. 2025. Oh my god. I almost threw up in my mouth a little bit. Look at this colorway of this Nike shoe. The Nike Zoom Fly 6 in pink and purple. But, you know, listen, I like pink. I could get down with purple shoes. I like the Adios Pro 3, that Minnesota Vikings. Let's go. But let's see. This is just not a great looking shoe, in my opinion. All right, here we are. So I'm going to try to run more in this. I'm going to run in this tomorrow. This is going to be my long run shoe. And I'm going to try to do most of my training in it. I'm going to get away from running my long runs in super shoes from last year. I mean, what's the difference between this and a super shoe? There will be some subtle differences, but it does have a lot underfoot and it has a plate, I imagine, like a lot of super trainers do. So there are elements of super shoes in it. So I don't know what the big difference is, other than I save some money. By the way, this is the Zoom Fly 6 was 123. I don't know. They had a code and then the code changed. I don't know if it was like Moment or something, but getting the Nike app, not a great idea, because same thing with the Adidas app, because then they just send you stuff. They're like, you got to buy this because it's on sale. And I'm a sucker for that. Out of sight, out of mind. It's like putting the cookies up in a high place so then you don't eat them. It's impossible. All right. I'm putting it on right now. I'm putting on just to, and the fit is true to size. This is a good fit. I'm gonna have to wear my pink socks to match these. I'm not gonna do any walking tests. I'll save it for the video, but I am bringing the camera along. So I brought the camera this morning and we talked about strategy. It was all Seth Godin related, and this strategy to get faster versus planning to get faster, and there's a bunch of stuff. So, and then, yeah, I'm just bringing the camera every day and it'll turn more into daily vlog. It'll have a subject. There will probably be jokes, Luis, so you can still watch and enjoy it. You don't have to cancel me quite yet. If I get serious, if I turn into a serious runner, you could cancel me. Luis Becerra, what's in the box? This movie was good. It was really hard not to cuss, but they say if you cuss in the first 10 seconds, the YouTube algorithm does cancel you a little bit. It's like, yeah, that's not going to be for most people, so we're gonna limit that. So Panos is in here. What's up, Panos? He says still better than the black version. I haven't seen the black version, but I'll take your word for it. I went with the black on black 1080 V13. Oh, that's dad shoe level. It's that dad shoe drip. What's on another level? It's not. It's anti-drip. That's it. That's all right. Luis Becerra says Zoom flies are heavy. Are they? I have a scale, but we're not going to put it on the scale because then it would just be like everybody else. And they'll be like, this guy doesn't have one original idea. What's he doing now? Weighing the shoes? Come on, everybody weighs the shoes. I'm just going to go based on feel. Yeah, no, it does feel heavy. You're right. Though, I don't mind a heavy shoe. The New Balance SE Trainer version 1s were heavy, and it had a lot of bounce and rebound. And so it did fatigue the legs. If I did some reps, some threshold reps, the second mile, I'm just kind of like, oh man, these things are heavy. What other shoe was heavy? I know the Pegasus Premium that's coming out is heavy. It's just not a big deterrent. The Skyward X is heavy, and that's a fun shoe. That's a good comparison. The Cloud Eclipse is like a boring Skyward X, or a Skyward X is frisky on Cloud Eclipse. Andrew Escobedo's in here. He says, I love the Zoom Fly 6, probably my shoe of the year. Well, holy shit, Andrew. That makes me really excited for tomorrow's run. He says, though I'll be buying quite a few 2024 shoes this spring as I retire my 2023 shoes in the next few months. Yeah, I got it. I'm selling them. I had this idea 2 months ago. I'm going to run through all these shoes and I'm going to a eulogy of sorts for shoes before I would say retire them, before I put them to sleep, euthanize them, because eulogy is anyway, this just got really dark. Anyway, for the Neo Vista, for example, I'm at 250. I could go 300, but it's like I can make a video. What's going to change in the next 50 miles? I can make a shoe review on it and then part ways with it. The Skyward X, I spent a lot of money on that one, so I definitely am going to, out of spite, I'm going to keep that shoe around out of spite. I'm not going to get as much as the Prime X strung on it, but it's coming up at 200. I bet I could get 500 plus on it. It's just, working it in. I can only run in one shoe, and I do have a plan. I have plans for 2025, and one of those plans is after Boston, I'm going to do this gigantic base build from May to July or August. It's like almost no speed work, maybe some strides or hill sprints or something, but just like tons and tons of volume. So I'm going to run through a lot of shoes. I'm going to get a lot of mileage. Maybe I'll stamp Maffetone on it, low heart rate. So then my math people will be happy. My Maffetoners will be happy. Luis Becerra says Kafuzi has a copyright. Yeah, he does he's got spreadsheets. He's got Google Sheets, Excel, like you can't, he weighs it. Joanna weighs it now, or he always has. People weigh their shoes. SJD, durometer. Come on, people want to know about the shoes. I'm just giving you an impression. I'm not giving you the facts. Luis Becerra says, I'm size 11, so maybe that's why I didn't like the Zoom Fly weight. Yeah, it does change shoe to shoe. I have to see. I like that my size, US men's size 9, is the reference size for all these shoes. That's kind of nice. So tomorrow's run is 140 minutes, oddly specific. Most of the long runs were 90 to 100 minutes in the speed work. We're staying away from the marathon long runs because we're not training for Boston quite yet. We're just training speed. And I imagine I'll do some easy to steezy pace tomorrow in these. And then I'm looking forward to using the Zoom Fly 6 for when it does have marathon pickups, like the following week. All right, what did I put here? Yeah, because I do have this long run shoe, the Zoom Fly 6 is taking over for the Neo Vista, for the Skyward X. And this is what I was talking about earlier. It's like, I can only run in one shoe. So then I don't want to part ways with the other ones, but at some point I have to, because when I made the decision to buy this, I have to microgrieve the loss of the shoe that I'm replacing. Otherwise, then I just end up with like 25 shoes. And I look at that Nova Blast 1 and I'm like, I'm going to run in you one day again. I just don't know when, because I have way too many other shoes to run in. All right, let's do one more box. This was a surprise. Someone actually sent me shoes. So I should get a box cutter. I need to invest in that. It's kind of wild, though. Some people started sending me stuff. People wanted to send me one of those imitation Pelotons. So that's my last effort. Well, that's my last effort trying to cross train. We'll see if I like following along with Roxanne or whoever is pushing me on the Peloton impersonation thing. Okay. Ooh, nice. Then someone wanted to send me some tights. That's a first. Dang, we got a silver shiny box, silver and black smoothness in every box. This is from Mizuno. Got the Mizuno logo. ho, 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 ho. We've got the Wave Rebellion Pro 3, and it is in no mystery colorway. That wasn't one of the mystery shoes, I think, anyway. It's not zebra print, and that makes me so, so happy. I've wanted to try this shoe. I reached out like a long time ago. I think before the Marine Corps Marathon, I was looking to like run because I got a 5K PB and a 10K PB in the Wave Rebellion Pro 2. And I heard there was a heel version of the shoe. And I know that there was a lot of hills, so I was going to try to do that. But anyway, they reached out, and I think they are going to be sending the new one that just came out, the Neo Zen, or is coming out. And then this, I'm very excited to try the shoe because I loved the two. I think there's even more stack. And you want to said something like it was a step backwards essentially, but we'll see because my foot stride and the way I run in cadence is different than his. He didn't like the Neo Vista, and I did like the Neo Vista. That we don't see eye to eye or foot to foot on a lot of these shoes, so I might really like it. So, oh, Frank's in here. What's up, Frank? Frank Hoolier says, I don't understand how the Adizero lineup is going to work. The Adios 9, the Boston 14, and the Evo SL all seem to be in the same spot in the rotation. No, you're right. You're 100% right. Because I just said earlier, I'm not doing the Adios 9 because I have the Evo SL. And I can't imagine how I get the Boston 14. Maybe the Boston 14 will become their Zoomfly 6 or their sort of long run super trainer. Do they have one of those already? Maybe they'll change it into that. But then the Evo SL being like a tempo day shoe. I know, let's see, Brooks has the tempo. I don't know. Okay, yeah, Saucony has the Endorphin Speed 5, and then they have the Endorphin Trainer, which is like the Convara Pro. So maybe one will be like more max stack, long run tempo. I don't know. The Adios has always been not always, but I think it's at odds with the Takumi Sen because, like I said, I got the Adios 6 because it was on sale for $60, but I never ran in it. I think I ran 37 miles before I gave them away because I kept running in the Takumi Sen 8s. Then I bought another pair of 8s when the 9s came out and the 8s went on sale again. So I think you're spot on. Again, but all these shoe companies have too many. I think they're doing that now with Max. I don't understand the Max still. All of it. People have tried to explain it to me. You would have like a Ghost Max, Hyperion Max, Glycerin Max, all the stuff, and Sagasu running. Well, when I talked with him, that one might come out. Jen Piazza's helping me out. She's doing some editing. That one might come out next week. Not this weekend, but next weekend. I think he described it as classes like a car. You have your like S class, whatever, your 300 series, your 500 series, your 700 series. So it's just like the deluxe version of it. It's the Lexus of that line. I'm not sure it works like that. Why do you like the Camry instead of a Corolla Ghost Max? I don't know. So there's a lot of options, lots of shoes. I can't see myself having the Camry and the Lexus. Luis Becerra says, I would try Peloton if Stevie76 was the instructor. Sign me up. We would go. But that membership's a lot. I think the pitch for this one that I'm trying out was that Yesel is that it's a fraction of the cost of Peloton. And it's like, I'm a budget buyer, so let's go for it. We'll see. It'll be better than my Assault bike, I'm pretty sure. So Luis Becerra says, looks minty fresh. Yeah, it's a good looking shoe. Franklin Hillier says, where do you foot strike? I foot strike. I'm a midfoot striker most of the time, but like most people late in a race, I fall back more towards the heel. but most of the time I'm midfoot. That's why I get on with Mizuno so well. So when I come down on the Wave Rebellion, let's see what it is. So when I come down on the Wave Rebellion Pro, like I feel like I land in the middle because it's more pronounced in the two, but it has like that speed bump. Skechers has that too, but the speed bump in the middle is a little too firm and I feel it. But if I'm landing on the downhill of that bump, then it does feel like it's pushing me forward when I run. I am not a 4-foot striker. And I think I started more as a heel striker, but as I ran more and my legs lifted up more, I kind of come through and land more midfoot. So, but I've seen pictures of me late in a race. It's not. This is not midfoot. Frank Hulier says Primex. Yeah, so Adidas, yeah, you're right. That's their super trainer already. So then if the Boston 12, it's like their Primex. I don't know. I think most shoe companies have way too many shoes. They could simplify the menu. Would be grateful for a lot of us. I would be grateful to just have less options. Sometimes I find myself now, I guess, like when I go to Netflix and I don't watch a lot of movies, there's all these movies out with all these big actors, and I don't know which ones are studio produced or which actors were just taking a paycheck from like a B movie or B script. So I got to watch the trailer for all of them to see if they're any good because I'm out of touch with what big releases are if it's not a Marvel movie or something like that, right? So similarly with shoes, I find myself watching other people's shoe reviews just to see what it is. And it's like, oh, I've never heard of that one. What's that one? Oh, they have this lineup. They're on the third version, Hyperion Max 3. They get three of these. What was the first one? Like, I don't even remember seeing a review for that. Whereas this one, so we'll see. Uh, I I don't know how. I'll have to test the Mizuno Wave Rebellion Pro 3, but I'm going to try to keep the race day shoes for race day and run in them and train in them less. All right. Now I want to go into like a section where it's just updates on what I've heard about the shoes. So we're just kind of on par for what we're talking about. Is that I'll hear something, I'll see something. I made the studs or duds for 2025. What I think these shoes are, and whether or not they'll be a stud or dud, just my guesses. And one of the duds, I thought the Convara Pro 2, which is called the Endorphin Trainer. I didn't know the Endorphin Trainer was the Convara Pro 2, and they just did rebranding. Makes sense in retrospect. Didn't feel too bright that, I didn't do more research. But the Doctors of Running gave a review already on that shoe. And Andrea said it was like the New Balance SE Elite V3, but a bigger daily trainer version of that. That's very specific, but I know what she's talking about. I love that shoe. So I feel like that's all I need to know about that shoe. I do wonder would I enjoy that because one of the great things about the SE Elite V3 from a littler runner is I didn't crush that foam. There was plenty of bounce and feedback. And I wanted to run in it every day. I wanted to run daily miles in it. Speed day stuff was fine. I didn't need the extra pop. So it was great. It was a great time. So it's got me intrigued. I'm not going to spend full price on it. So we're definitely not doing that. And I know that on the long run front, Kafuzi adding the long run category, then I saw some other person on social media put a long run category, and sometimes people do the long run category of shoe. I was hesitant to do that or the super trainer for 2023 because the super trainer was in its infancy stage and all of the 1.0s were full price. And so the Mach X, the Convara Pro, when they're $180, but I could get the Adios Pro 3 for 130 or the SE Elite for 3 for 130. I'm going to save $50 and just get last year's super shoe. So there wasn't there. Now it's going to be different going forward because now as the Mach X3 comes out, there's the Mach X2 on sale. And as those shoes improve, looks like apparently the Zoom Fly 6 improve and all of these other super trainers improve, they will be coming out at prices and their older versions will be better prices than the super shoes in theory. So I'm going to try to attempt to use the shoes as they are intended. I don't know if it's going to give me any sort of benefit, but that's the story I'm telling myself. I take ketones. I'm a sucker. Okay. Creatine, count me in. Oh, do it. It's a lot of talk about creatine lately. It's like, well, couldn't hurt you. Well, maybe you could gain weight and it could backfire, but I'm taking it. I'm taking creatine. I know I'm a sucker because I got talking to BCAAs a few years ago too. Oh, protein's not enough. You got to do these BCAAs. I am a door-to-door salesman's dream. You just hope some Mormons don't come knock on my door because your boy's gonna be Mormon. Frank's in here. He says, "Yep, I got the Adios Pro 3 for my super trainers because I keep finding them for $100. It's hard to say no to. And 2025, I've committed to doing certain things. A strategy. Back to the Seth Godin thing. I've got some. That was today's topic for the video. Strategy versus planning. I've got some strategies. But I got to be honest with myself about the shoes. And one of the things that I'm not doing in 2025 is I'm not buying duplicates of shoes that I already own that I just love. And that was really hard because the Mizuno Wave Rebellion Pro 2 with the extra discount, it was on clearance. But if you use Ioana's discount code with that he has, you get an extra 10% off. It would have been like 170. Still pricey, but I mean, $80 off the super shoe. But it's like, no, I already have 100 plus miles in the first pair. I'm going to run in plenty of other super shoes. If I want to run more in the Wave Rebellion Pro 2, I can just run in the Wave Rebellion Pro 2. So I bought like 3 pairs of the Speed ones, 2 pairs of the Takumi Sen 8s, Rebel V3. I bought a few pairs. But I've got to run in too many shoes. I don't have to, but I'm choosing to run in newer shoes. So I'm stepping away from buying old ones again. So, all right. Then somebody was saying the Adios Pro 4, like I'm taking a collective impression of what everybody's saying about the shoe versus finding one person I really identify with and saying like, okay, they really nailed that shoe. Because it's hard. Like when I usually mess up my shoe reviews. I don't get them right. Like my first impression, Cloud Eclipse, is just a shoe. And then after 50 miles, I'll be like, this is exactly what I need for my recovery days because I don't like soft shoes and I like the shoe to be just soft enough, but firm and keep me honest and not want me to pick up the pace. And then, like the Adios Pro 3 wasn't a huge fan when I first got it because I love the 2 so much. I ended up loving the 3. The Alpha Fly 3, I still stand by. I do think it's overrated, but it is really good at very high speeds. But 275 plus tax, a lot to pay for like a 5K, 10K shoe if that's what I would use it for. It's a bit pricey. It's really pricey. But I'm usually wrong about stuff when I circle back. So I don't know. So when I see other reviewers, they get their hands on the Adidas Pro 4 and they say like, this is what I think. This is whatever. Like I'm trying to gauge whether or not they're just really excited to run in it. If they already really like Adidas' shoes, what kind of runner they are, and factor that in. I'm just trying to take a collective whole. So Luis Becerra's in here. He says, have a great weekend, guys. Got to go. Have fun cleaning the house, Luis. And, I hope you have a wonderful holiday. We're not going to do Wednesdays because it's Christmas. So if you hit the next live stream, we'll see you maybe next Saturday. So, but I was saying I have no idea what I was saying. Most of the time I'm just making shit up as I go, guys. Just making it up as I go. Oh yeah. The collective Adios Pro 4. So do you guys ever do the word jumbles in the newspaper? My mom is a big crossword person. She just also do like the word jumbles. It's like 6 letters or 5 letters and they're just mixed up. And then you could try to when I first started doing them, I would try to rearrange the letters into different things, and I would be like, "Okay, there's 2 L's, put the 2 L's together, I'll do this stuff." And then what I realized was the best way to do the word jumbles is to look at them and then close your eyes, and then, like, your brain will put it together for you. Like, it already kinda knows. You just get the impression of it. If you just put those letters together, it sort of solves itself when you don't think about it, you take a snapshot of it. So with the Adios Pro 4, I'm just kind of taking a snapshot of it. And what I'm getting is that it's really good and not remarkable, not a alpha fly killer type of shoe where you're like, you have to try this shoe. So 250 bucks, big price. I will not be adding it to the list. I have a limited budget. So there's that. All right. So Dan Rodriguez is in here. He says Nova Bus 5 or the Neo Zen, the Neo of word jumbles. uh, well, I cannot speak to that. I believe the Neo Zen are going to be coming in the mail. And I haven't run in the Nova Bus 5. I ran in the 4. But I will say this the Neo Zen when they did the mystery shoe and they described it, they were like, "Well, this is a new offering from Mizuno." Then they described the ingredients, the paprika, the cinnamon, the baking powder, the 2 eggs, the bake time. Like, this is what you get. You get this shoe. And as they described it, I was like, that seems like the Neo Vista without a plate, like a plateless Neo Vista. But it's a new foam compound, and really you'll never know until you run in it and get it underfoot what it's like. But I will say that the Energy Next foam, in my opinion, is very light and very soft. There's not much there. And so the foam collapses, and then they had a plastic plate in the Neo Vista. So for some people, they tried to run in it and they just didn't get the energy returned back. And I got energy returned back and a lot of bounce at 144 pounds till about 115 miles. And I think the doctors of running said something very similar, like the energy, then it kind of loses a little pop. And once it lost a little pop, it would sink in. And it's not stable. Otherwise, there's not a lot of stability elements in it. So it's not a shoe that I would want to walk around in all day. And it does feel like a little boat under your foot, kind of like the Super Blast does, but just like a softer Super Blast. The outsole was not very great. So my questions for the Neo Zen is it going to collapse and then there's no plate to catch me or stabilize it? Is it gonna be highly unstable? And then is it gonna bounce me back? What's that new foam like? Did we get a little nitrogen infused bounce pop back? Am I gonna get some support where the shoe will hold up after 115 miles? That's my question for the shoe. And then I went to go see my cousin's band in Austin last night, and then I was driving back, and Joanna posted his first run in the New Year's End. I mean, he doesn't watch other YouTubers, so he didn't know, but what he was describing was essentially the Neo Vista without a plate. And it's light, super light, but had the same stability issues. And the Nova Blast 5, you're going to get a lot of more structure and stability that really came alive in the 4, evolved from the 3. And that, from my understanding, is still present in the 5. And the 5 still bouncy, soft and bouncy. It's weird. This year, they say the same thing about the Adios 9. It's soft, but it's bouncy. And I'm like, I mean, that's like it's a weird combination. I guess the fuel cell foam was kind of like that from 2023. And I enjoyed that. So it's possible, but it's just kind of weird. And then the Adios 9, especially being kind of like a racing flat. And the only shoe that I remember that was kinda like that was the Puma Liberate. The first one, you could just fold that shoe in half, and it had nitrogen-infused foam, just like a little sliver. It was nice and bouncy, and it gave it just enough to where you could take it out for some daily runs, but really it's a zesty little number that you could run fast in. Frank Lahullier says, "What we want is the Evo 1 that costs $250 and you can actually get it." Facts. Like, I think I would be disappointed if I paid, because when I was running in the Evo SL, I thought about it. I was like, what if I paid $500 for what I only watched one video on the Evo 1. I only watched one, and I watched Kafuzi's because he really nails it. He really nails the shoe, and he described it as a more built Takumi Sen, like for that half marathon or marathon distance. And that sounds amazing. That sounds what I want, but not for $500. And I would just feel really, I would feel buyer's remorse if I spent that much money on a shoe. And I was like, to run this race. We don't have that kind of money in here. But they're getting, I think there's a small section of the market that's working on that. The shoe companies designing shoes for elite athletes. So you get the Edge Paris and the Sky Paris coming in super lightweight, not much of a heel, not for beginning marathoners necessarily. You have your SC Elite V4s for that kind of stuff. And now other companies will be making their take on the Evo, but I don't know if it's following suit. It's like the first major movie franchise that cut their final movie in half so they can make $2 billion instead of $1 billion. And you got to wait an entire year to next Christmas to watch it. Fire that guy. That pisses me off. That, I mean, it's bad enough for a trilogy, right? Like Lord of the Rings, man, my friend hyped me up so much on that. We went to go see it in the movies, the movie theater, and it ends with him just like walking in a field. And he's like, dude, that was like the best movie. It's one of the best movies I've ever seen. I'm like, begin me, middle me, end me. Bro, like they're just walking. That's all they're doing is walking in a field. Yeah, I don't feel completed. So you got to watch all three. You got to put it together. Anyway, so they did it with Harry Potter. They did it with Twilight. Now it's like you got a banger. What we're going to do is we're going to take that movie. We're going to cut it in half. We're going to fill it with stuff, right? That's not so relevant to the story, but it's okay. The fans love it. And then wait till next Christmas, and then we'll get another $1 billion. So anyway, as it relates to shoe companies, I wonder, is people just going to do that? Oh, we need to have a $500 shoe. Well, let's put Johnny Depp in it, and let's get some mermaids, and then we'll Pirates of the Caribbean 4. Can we get the main actress again? No. We'll just get Selma Hayek. It's fine. It's fine. Show some cleavage. We'll be good. We'll put it out. We'll have the script ready for you in 3 weeks, and then we'll just shoot it. So, not that I would just buy the $500 shoe, and I think but everything's coming back to Seth Godin, the purple cow, the guy. It's just he says that any time a product comes out, there's like the first buyers who get there first and take the risk. Then there's the majority of us who kind of wait to see what everyone else says, and then they try it out. Then there's the people like me, usually how I roll and how I did for a long time before I started a channel and review shoes, was like, I'm gonna wait till that was $60. Wait for $60 and then I'm gonna try it out. So Dan Rodriguez says, have you ever tried Ultra? I think Zero Drop really helped strengthen my feet. I have not, Dan. There are shoes that are brands that are outside of my scope so far. And I'm trying to do like 1 to 2 years, 1 to 2 brands at a time where I kind of dip my toes in the water. And I tried the On-Cloud Eclipse for $90. They don't go on sale a lot, and they're very pricey. Hoka has won me back. I tried them originally in 2020, went away from them, but after getting the Rocket X2 and seeing that they've improved their foam, their outsole game is not great and it needs a lot of improvement. But Hoka's won me back a little bit this year. In 2024, I tried Mizuno, and I like they're designed for probably smaller runners, like Japanese runners and midfoot strikers. I do like that. And this year, I'm going to venture back to Brooks. I'm going to try Brooks again because, like, the Levitate 2 broke my ankles. I did not like Brooks. Brooks is not my friend. But I know they're changing the Ghost. They've got all these maxes. Their foam is their DNA Loft 9.0 something. I don't know. They've evolved apparently, and a lot of people like Brooks now. So I might dip my toes into that. Then we'll see. Ultra will be on a list. I wanted to try to Reebok shoe for $40, but I mean they're not putting any effort to really coming up. And Puma won me over slowly. Occasionally I try a Puma shoe, and I just love every Puma shoe that I run in because I tend to like nitrogen infused foams. I like Skechers when I first tried them before they started making weird shaped speed bumps in their shoe. And I knew that Puma, to me, they kind of became what Skechers was on track for, and they kind of took over. And I really enjoy that foam. And apparently, they also have the durability and they have the Puma grip. So there's a lot to like with Puma. And my two daily trainers are the On Cloud Eclipse now and the Puma Deviate 2. And I'm going to take that one the distance. That's a really great shoe. So, but I want to get, I definitely want to try Ultra. I do have some zero drop shoes that I walk around in. But Ultra is just one that I've kind of missed. So anyway, I appreciate all you guys stopping in so close to the holidays. And on Saturday, people got a lot of stuff to do. And you can't change the name of your channel more than once. For every 10 days, they're like, no, you've hit your limit, bro. You only get two. And then now you got to wait like 8. I got to wait 8 days to change this name. And I was like, oh, I didn't know. So I definitely want to change the name of this channel just to like Shoe Talk, Running Shoe Talk or something like that. So it's like, you know what it is. And then it's just like live streams. And then I'm going to make some shorts because shorts also crowd the regular feed as well. So recovery tool stuff and then like shoe sales and other things that I come across. I'll just make shorts, whatever. So hit the bell notification or don't if you don't want to be bothered by a bunch of shit, and then but have a great holiday, guys. And we'll see you next Saturday.